if this is the last round, I just want to name albums that like. If this is
Yeah.
cool, name albums. Cool,
Honorable
cool.
mentions. Just
Yeah,
drop your
albums.
Let's do it.
So like, there's like old albums on here that like I was there for, but I thought were obviously like great albums. So if it's not on the list, doesn't mean it's a bad album. We don't think it's Southern Playlistic, Cadillac Music, America's Most Wanted, Ice Cube, Ready to Die, obviously, Illmatic. I had Lupe Fiasco, Food and Liquor, Cold World. Yeah, that was a good one. Cold World, J. Cole, Camp, Childish Gambino, Pusha T, My Name Is My Name. I had Isaiah Rashad, The Sun's Tirade. I'm just a big fan of his. Jid, Never Story, just another big fan of his. Doris, Earl Sweatshirt, and College Dropout. Those are like some ones that I thought of off the top of my head. All the other ones I named, but yeah, those are like ones. If they're not on there, I just tried. I really tried to keep it like albums I was there for. Like I really did try to keep it like that because like I don't want to speak on the albums I wasn't there for. It's like, oh man, I didn't know that.
For me, I alluded to it earlier. You got Snoop Doggy Style. Yep. You got Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt. Yep. You got Nas, Illmatic. I got Clips, Lord Willing.
Oh yeah.
Jeezy, TM 101. All time classic. That
is a classic. I should.
If we legit had to make a list of top,
it's up there.
That's top, that's top five. That's up there. You named the Outkast joint I had in mind. A more 2010s joint, Ray Shremmerd.
Ooh, that was a moment, dog. That was a moment.
That was a moment. That took them to some places.
That was a moment. Oh man.
I don't know if I want to count this, but I got to throw my guy Pop Smoke in there.
That counts. That counts.
I would say that.
It sucks seeing the field right now, knowing what he could have, the part he could have played in it, and so.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are albums that came to mind. I'm gonna go ahead and throw out Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I know it's some back and forth arguments of she ain't. I mean, it's
her debut. It's her debut.
Yeah, well, that and
the music. I judge the music. Obviously, there's controversy. The music was good.
But yeah, it's timeless, man. It's a timeless work of art. And yeah, man, that pretty much does it for me in terms of the debut albums that I just run back to often. In terms of hip hop, I mean R&B, I look at that a little different because when it comes to like the R&B, love the genre, but a lot of the credit I typically attribute to songwriters and producers more than the artists themselves sometimes. So that's why I didn't really name an R&B album. Yeah, because it's like, just using an example, let's take somebody like Babyface. Like, we can say, oh, man, just throwing out names. We can say the Tevin Campbells, the Tony Braxtons, et cetera, et cetera. I like their albums. I like this and that. But then when you look at who was doing the writing and all of that, it's like, man, shit.
The Bones, that was the Bones of the album.
Yeah, fair. For more recent times, The Dream. Like, unless you're saying his own albums, but if you look at The Dream,
he writing everything.
Neo,
he writing everything.
Like,
it's
like, damn, I want to like the artist and give them their credit, but the damn songwriter themselves
did everything.
They're it. Yeah,
you see the songwriters, they big hitters. That's fair.
That's a really good point. That's a really, really good point. Because
bring us on for the R&B podcast.
Yeah. That I don't think that diminishes. I don't think that diminishes R&B albums at all, but I do think that's a point in regards to who you credit the debut and the impact and the boom, like who kind of gets a lot of that credit. I get how you divvy it up that way.
For me, R&B has been like, even though I think songwriting is a big part of it, the first thing for R&B is like honestly like how you sound. Like, really, do I like their voice or not? So like, although I think songwriting is important, not diminishing like the songwriting, but it's always been more of a voice thing for me. If I just like their voice, I'm probably gonna like their music, even though like the songwriting. Even though I do think songwriting is important, hip hop's kind of different for me.
See, with me, I do think that's a valid point, but it also comes down to when you say the voice, it's who was coaching them, because part of the songwriting piece is it's hard for me to hear a song the same again after I found out who wrote it. Like
that's fair.
Like. I was listening to Jay Holiday's Bed the other day, and it's like, damn, this really do sound like a Dream song. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because that's his shit.
That's fair. That's fair.
Keith Sweat, a lot of the songs he wrote, you can hear it. You can hear his voice, and it's like, damn.
Not the biggest Keith Sweat fan.
You what?
Nah, personally. Maybe that's my pops. My pops wasn't the biggest Keith Sweat fan growing up, and not a lot of Keith Sweat going around. Not bad or anything, but.
God damn, that actually might be worse than my Frank Ocean.
I didn't say he's terrible. You said Blonde was bad. I said I'm not the biggest Keith Sweat fan. You said Blonde was
but
bad.
God damn, keep with that
For the
guy,
record,
man.
no, Keith Sweat's not bad.
Yeah.
Keith Sweat's not bad. I don't think he's bad.
Yeah.
Just not like one of my like R&B like heroes or anything like that. So yeah.
You got some shit out here, man. I got you though. Yeah, I got you though. That's valid.
I mean, that might be a hot take. People love Keith Sweat.
Yeah. Y'all named a lot of the honorable mentions I was gonna bring up. Did we mention Biggie Ready to Die?
I said it.
You said it. Okay.
Mention. I said on honorable mention.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's like without.
Right. Missy's debut is fire. And I think we brought up I don't know if we brought up Straight Outta Compton specifically, but that as a debut.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a good one.
One that didn't come up that just hit me as y'all were going through y'all. Bone Thugs debut.
Oh my god, Bone Thugs. Oh, so underrated, dog.
I don't know how I forgot that one.
I didn't either when I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute, that definitely should have been brought up and discussed.
Bone Thugs
because I would say this. I don't consider them the best group of all time because they're one of my favorite groups.
They just make good music. So consistent.
They probably have one of the best like group albums of all time, if anything. Yeah. But yeah, no, they're up there because now you say that you can't help but name Migos too as a debut album. You know, I know they have the mixtapes and stuff, but Bone Thugs, man, they deserve.
What's considered the debut for Migos? Is it Culture? Is that the debut?
Culture is the debut.
That's so crazy.
Studio album.
Yeah. That's crazy because I'm from Atlanta and like all those mixtapes was just like those were the albums. Like we just Migos. That's crazy. But that's crazy because Culture was the introduction for a lot of people. Migos.
I will say this: Culture was definitely them getting out of underground like trap. Culture for them was like, this is your push into mainstream rap. Culture might be a flawless album. I'm not gonna hold you. There's not a lot wrong with Culture as an album.
Oh no. As a track, no, I think it's a good. I think there's not a lot wrong. Like there's not like you can't say it's like the best album ever or whatever. But like in terms of just like, there's nothing I would necessarily change about it
at all.
I don't really have any problems I would change about it.
Because as you were saying, I was going over the track list again,
mm-hmm.
and I think what it is.
That's a great album.
If we go back and look at the Migos back then, part of their issue is that they were still kind of uptight. Like, because if you look at their interviews, they were kind of dull. You know, they had
not a lot of personality. Oh, they had the worst interviews, dog.
Yeah, but I think Culture was the album that made not only QC, but just every type of entity that they work with going forward say, hey, we got to really like peel some layers back on these guys because they're stars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, next thing you know, they go from these dull interviews. Now you're seeing Quavo at NBA All-Star weekends, and they're doing commercials and stuff. Offset's doing shows. Now he's adding choreography into his actual performances. Now Takeoff's getting his flowers for being one of the most remarkable art. Like, Culture was the album that made everybody invest in them as actual people and bring them to the forefront of the stage.
That was the first album because for a long time it was just like Quavo and Takeoff because Offset was locked up, and that was like Offset here too, and that's when people like because for a while it was really just like Quavo and Takeoff on those mixtapes and stuff like that early on because Offset was locked up for a minute.
Yeah,
so that's a good one. That's a good pull.
Yeah,
2017. Damn, that was a while ago too.
But that also a moment. I remember that being something that like people were like, "Oh no, this album!" Like,
all through college.
Whenever Migos dropped, like, this is like this an album. Like you said, it was that it's the introduction to them. It's like, oh no, we actually should probably look at them as not just this trap group from Atlanta. Like, no, they're
stars. They're stars,
and they started getting recognized as such by the industry.
Hey, this gonna sound weird, but pre-Culture, people were treating them like Travis Porter.
Wow.
No, like for real, because Travis Porter had a hell of a run, but it was like, all right, we done taking it serious, and they wither away. So Versace was 2012, 2013. So I was still in undergrad then. That was like me and my friends. We kind of knew that. All right, hold on, these niggas are serious. But the masses just treated them like a typical old. Okay, these are a bunch of hood dudes rapping together. They gonna fizzle out. But then culture.
That's fair. That's fair.
That and Bougie alone really takes them into a whole different stratosphere.
Oh, that went. I think that went number one. So like.
Yeah. Like, I mean. You know it did some shit when the whites took it. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
No doubt. That's a good point. Yeah. I don't disagree with that. I was like, damn, Travis Porter, that's crazy. It's crazy to think about that now. But that's a good point. That's a good point. It was like Travis Porter, Rich Homie Quan, all them.
Yeah. They were just treating them like some niggas that just rap, but it's like, nah, they're a little bit stronger than that. Because then I think what also helped them was individually they started doing features too.
Like, yeah, they started becoming their own artists too, outside of the group.
Yeah, that was a major thing.